Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Recruit Military Live, a continuing series of live broadcasts covering all things military transition, veteran employment, military employment, and much, much more. My name is Lucas Connolly, retired U.S. Army officer and former TAP program manager, here to share with you the ins and outs of navigating the turbulent waters of civilian employment. If you're in search of meaningful employment, well, you're in the right place. Visit rmvets.com/live to learn more. Okay, folks, let's kick off the show. Do you live for the smell of diesel and jet fuel? Is hydraulic fluid coursing through your veins? Well, if you said yes, then you are going to love this episode. Today's topic is careers at Cummins. If you're interested in a meaningful and lucrative career opportunities with a company that's been moving America for more than 100 years, well, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and whatever you do, don't touch that mouse. Our guest today graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1995. He was a damage control assistant, a surface warfare navigator, and later an exercise officer for Navy Special Operations. In 2000, he headed to the world-renowned Harvard Business School, where he was awarded a Master's in Business Administration in 2002. The same year, he started his more than 20-year career with Cummins. Today, he is the general manager of sales and services for Cummins North America, leading a team of more than 8,500 sales and service professionals. That's a lot of folks. That's like 2 brigades. And he's responsible for over 200 sites and $7 billion. That's billion would it be? $7 billion in annual revenues. Please join me in welcoming to the show today, Mr. Zach Gillen.
Hey, Lucas. Great to be here. You got me fired up with that intro there.
Well, I do my best. 20 years, and it looks like you've made a heck of a career.
I've had a lot of help with a lot of great teammates, mentors, and my family, of course, along the way. But really excited to be here and looking forward to our discussion and dialogue here.
Okay, folks, now that you know who we are, we'd like to hear who you are. Hit us up in that chat window. Let us know where you're watching from, who you are, who you're with, who you serve with, what your status is. Are you active duty, in transition, a veteran, a mil spouse, a caregiver, or something else we haven't thought of? We'd like to hear from you. So if you've got questions, comments, gripes, drop them in the chat. And time allowing, we'll engage. All right, Zach, before we get into opportunities at Cummins, why don't you set the stage for us? Tell us a little bit about your personal story.
Sure. And before I do, again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a real honor. I grew up in Columbia, Maryland, and I'm a product of a Gillen hour system. It was a system where my parents converted things they bought me as a kid. Back then it was baseball cards, cassette tapes, skateboards. They converted all those things into hours of work that I owed the family. And my dad was Bob Vila before there was Bob Vila. He was a serial project guy, and we spent over 10 years renovating our home growing up. It's a big influence on me. It's how I worked off all the hours. And looking back, that system taught me the value of serving my family and also staying committed when things get tough, because we had a lot of setbacks on the projects. My interest in the military started my senior year of high school. We had a new assistant wrestling coach who showed up on his first day wearing a Navy uniform. He was a Naval Academy graduate. He didn't know a lot about wrestling, but he ran track at Navy, and he ran us into the ground during practice. He was our conditioning coach. He also pushed us to put academics first, and he really ignited in me this idea of serving something bigger than myself. That led me to follow in his footsteps and go off to the Naval Academy, where I graduated and became a Navy diver. Then I was on to business school, as you mentioned, and I had a chance at business school to hear from one of the former Cummins CEOs, Tim Salso. And he inspired me to join Cummins. That was nearly 22 years ago. I've been blessed to have a lot of amazing opportunities at Cummins, serving in 4 of our 5 different business units. I've lived and worked in Germany, in Canada. And now, as you mentioned, Lucas, I've got the honor of leading our sales and service team here in North America. My leadership purpose is simple. It's driven to serve. I've been serving my whole life. I feel like I grew up serving my parents and left home to serve the country. And now I serve all our teammates in North America. And my values are family, service, commitment, and faith. I've been married to my best friend, Bettina, for almost 26 years now. And we've been blessed with 3 teenagers and a dog named Grace. It's a little bit about me.
Awesome. And I had to chuckle there for a second, because if your dad was Bob Vila, then my dad was Tim the Toolman Taylor. If you've never seen the man who brought you into the world electrocute himself for the 3rd or 4th time, I'd recommend it. It's an experience. All right. So now that we know a little bit about you, let's talk Cummins. And I think everybody associates Cummins with power generation, diesel, high performance. What can you tell us about Cummins as a company, as someplace I might want to work?
It's a great story. You know, you mentioned over 100 years. We were founded in 1919 in a small town called Columbus, Indiana. And Clussy Cummins was the engineering genius behind the company. He grew up on a rural farm in Indiana. He was building his first steam engine by the age of 11. And he later became a chauffeur for the Irwin family in Columbus, Indiana. And the Irwin family provided all the funding to start Cummins. The breakthrough vision that Clussy had was seeing the possibility of a diesel in an automotive application. That was the breakthrough vision. And today we're a global company with over 70,000 teammates around the world. We manufacture more than 1 million engines a year that help our customers power a more prosperous world. You'll find Cummins power in generators that back up the Statue of Liberty, Wrigley Field, Canada's Parliament buildings, hospital ERs all over the world, airport infrastructure, and data centers that power our kids' TikTok. We also power fire trucks that keep our families safe and buses that help get our kids to school. We also power my aging in-laws' home in rural Michigan, where the power outage rate is double the national average. But our mission is more than just providing power, Lucas. We're on a mission to save the planet. And we have set a goal to reach net zero emissions by 2050. We call this strategy Destination Zero. And to quote Mahatma Gandhi, we want to be the change that we want to see in the world. And it's just an incredibly exciting time to be part of the company and be part of this transition that we're going through now.
And Gary from our audience, Gary Miller, jumps in and says, in my Ram 2400. So absolutely, there's nothing quite like a Cummins engine in a big old American-made pickup truck.
Thank you, Gary, for the business.
Okay, so, hey, absolutely outstanding, long history, great company, doing great things in America. Now, Zach, as you know, somewhere in the range of about 150 to 200,000 service members leave the military every year. A significant majority of those are looking for their second career, full-time employment after the military. Of that population, and that's a pretty broad swath of talent, what are you looking for in a strong candidate, someone that can come and join the Cummins family?
That's a great question. We look for people that are humble and hungry, Lucas, people that really connect to our values. We're a very value-based company, a driven company. Our values are integrity, DE&I, teamwork, excellence, caring. We look for folks that have some resonance and really deeply connect with our values. And we seek people, frankly, that get inspired by this mission we're on that I talked about, this transition that we're trying to make, growing up as a 100-year-old diesel, natural gas, power gen company that's quickly evolving into creating a broad portfolio of solutions for our customers to get to zero emissions. And it's a crusade that we're on, and we look for people that get excited and get ignited by that. You ready to join us, Lucas?
Oh, don't try to poach me. Harvard did that. No, I'm very happy to be working for RecruitMilitary, the best company I've ever worked for outside of the United States military. So as tempting as it might be, I think I'm staying right here. I love my job.
I'll keep working on you.
Okay. Now, what kind of opportunities? I'm sure there's something in every corner of the business, but if you had to put your finger on some of the biggest opportunities within Cummins that might attract the attention of transitioning service members and veterans alike. What stands out?
Yeah, I'll share maybe first some historical context. So we have added nearly 50,000 teammates since I joined the company in 2002. And we're always searching for top talent. Across my team in North America, we estimate a need to hire approximately 900 people in 2024, next year. A lot of these folks that we're looking for, roughly 600, will be technicians. So diesel technicians that are also, we're positioning to be able to work on some of the newer alternative power, and shop professionals for our manufacturing sites. We also, one of the exciting things in terms of what we're looking for and the opportunities we have for veterans, I'm really excited to share with everybody here that in conjunction with Veterans Day and Remembrance Day last week, we announced that we are now going to have an aspirational representation goal for veterans. It's been a long time coming. It's part of our efforts around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we announced that we have set these aspirational representation goals in 10 countries around the world that cover about 2/3 of our population today. And for the US, we have set a goal of 7%. We're currently at 5%. And if you just did some simple math on the population we have today in the US, moving from 5 to 7 would add another 500 veterans to our ranks. So I'm excited because we take goals seriously at Cummins, and just real excited to see us make this public, visible commitment to veterans.
Okay, so hundreds of opportunities across North America, lots of opportunities for diesel techs, and there's tons of those in the military, lots of opportunities in manufacturing. Now, I understand you also have a skill bridge program as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, we do. Really excited about the work we've been doing here with Skill Bridge. It's a terrific program, and we have an awesome team here at Cummins, led by Sean Lamy, a former Marine. And we started this program internally at Cummins in earnest in 2021. And that year we had approximately 20 screen candidates. This year we have over 500 in our pipeline. We've hired formally 37 into a mix of technician and leadership roles. So it's a broad mix of different opportunities that we have here in North America. And we have 26 who are on active assignment or who are getting ready to start. Been a terrific program for us.
All right, awesome. So folks, if you're transitioning from military service, if you haven't done a little bit of research about Skill Bridge, take the time to do it. If you've got 180 days left in service and you've got command authorization, you can intern with Cummins. And it sounds like a pretty high likelihood that if you do well, you can get hired. I love it. Now, Zach, what if someone's doesn't have the amount of time necessary? Let's say they're 30 days out from transition, or maybe they've already transitioned. Someone told me about an apprenticeship program at Cummins. Could you share that with the audience?
Sure. We do have a technician apprenticeship program. We've launched that in 2015. So we're getting some reps under us and some legs under us in this program. We have launched 34 cohorts of apprentices. We have partnerships with 3 different schools across the US. So we have a partnership with a school in Salt Lake City, one here in Indiana, Vincennes, and Piedmont, or Central Piedmont, in North Carolina is another partner school of ours. We have different cohorts that go through and focus on power generation or engine training. We have roughly 200 that are active in the program, with 80 to 90 who have fully graduated from the 4-year apprenticeship program. And the actual schooling, you get an associate's degree, and the programs are 2 to 2.5 years, depending on whether it's engine or power gen. We provide all the tools. We cover all of the tuition. And it's really a terrific program for folks who want to transition in as an apprentice.
Now, I think for some folks transitioning, one of the great things about being in the military, if you're a tech, if you're a mechanic, if you're a generator maintainer, Uncle Sam's nice enough to buy all your tools for you, which is great. Unfortunately, you don't get to take them home at the end of the day. Do you have anything that helps put literally the tools in the hands of some of your apprentices?
We do. If you're part of our TAP program, as I mentioned, the tools are provided. We also have scholarships that we offer to folks that could go to UTI, Universal Technical Institute, and we cover the tuition and tools for those scholarships. And folks that are just part of our normal technician teams, our core teams, Lucas, we offer annual stipends for folks to build out their toolkits.
Nice.
So we have different ways to try to ease some of that cost, because we know that is a real upfront cost for our techs.
All right, fantastic. All right, folks, you heard it. So before you put a triple mortgage on your grandmother's house, take a look at what Cummins has to offer. I know a lot of mechanics out there, and half of them are putting the Snap-on man's kids through college. I guarantee it. So, what about locations? You mentioned a lot of locations. If someone wants to participate in the apprenticeship program, are there particular sites or where they can go to? And then what about placement? A lot of folks getting out of the military are concerned about where I'm going to live.
Yes. The nice thing about our network, Lucas, is that we are truly where all of our customers are. And we have, as you mentioned, close to 200 sites across North America, Canada, US. We have a site in Puerto Rico. So we are very close to probably most on this call that are dialing in from North America. We'll have a site relatively close by that you can tether to. Our field technicians obviously are in the field a lot. Sometimes they're resident at the customer directly, and sometimes they'll more efficiently operate out of their home and pick up parts where they need them and come into the local branch at some periodic frequency. So we do, and again, we have this information on our website of exactly where we're located and where the roles are located. But we have a lot of sites blanketing North America.
Okay, well, fantastic. And folks that are watching, stick around. At the end of the show, we'll drop that link in the chat, in the comments, so that you can go there and check it out. Paul Hanaway has a great question. Paul asks, what's the conversion rate for your skill bridge? I think he's asking what percentage you end up full-time employed. I think that's the question.
That is a great question. I may have to cycle back on getting the exact conversion rate, which I will follow up, Lucas. I do know it's relatively high, the ones that stay with us, but I don't have an exact figure off the top of my head, and I want to give you a straight answer there. So I'll have to follow up on the conversion rate. Okay,
Paul, looks like we owe you a follow-up on that one. Great question.
It is high, though. I can tell you it's relatively high.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we know transitioning service members are concerned about location. We talked about that before. And the second thing that they are most concerned about, and go figure, pay. Compensation. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's rip open the box and see what's inside. Folks got bills to pay, right? So what is the average compensation for, let's say, an entry-level technician?
So our average compensation, Lucas, for our technicians, and this includes bonus, overtime, fringes, is well over 100K. And our most experienced techs can make significantly more than that. So we pay our techs well, we pay our techs competitively, and they do terrific work for us on the front lines for our customers. But those are the high-level numbers.
Well, suddenly I wish I had taken auto tech in high school instead of AP English.
Our techs make, they certainly, and of course there's pathways off the tools. They come in and they can build a career, learning our products, working on our products, serving our customers on the very front lines of the battle. And if they want to move off the tools, we create pathways to move into leadership roles, supervisor roles. We have a lot of former techs running our branches. And my former boss before I took this current role, I was a former technician who led overall the North America team, which is the role I'm in now. So there's lots of pathways for our techs.
Awesome. And it looks like you've sold the program to Christopher Stewart. Guess I'm going to learn how to become a tech for Cummins. Chris, stay with us. You'll learn how to reach out to Cummins here at the end when we drop that link. This is all really fantastic stuff. And we did have a question, again, off the tools. Let's say you've got someone who's perhaps a junior military officer, maybe a mid-grade NCO. Do you have something in sales, service, junior management, some kind of programs like that, some kind of pathway in that direction?
We have a leadership program that we have been aggressively launching and working across our global organization. And it's called Building Success in You. And it is for leaders. And it's a terrific program. We weren't sure how it might work in the COVID era with Zoom. We have found it to be very successful, actually, with digital breakout rooms and use smaller groups, but we get close to 400 to 500 often through a cohort. So they come back to a big room to get some coaching. And then there's a lot of terrific case studies and other materials that the teams work on in small groups of roughly eight folks with table leaders. And we are working to get all of our leaders, frontline leaders. Now we're getting into the ranks. This year we will get roughly 4,000. We'll be at a roughly 4,000 mark of getting our leaders through it. Our global goal is 10,000. And of course, techs that come off the tools or other folks that are moving into supervision roles, they have access to this program. And we're working quickly to kind of get as many through as we can. We're planning to do another roughly 3,000 next year. So that's our core program that we build leadership around. It focuses on 8 leadership behaviors that we are trying to ingrain and internalize as leaders at the company. And it's been a terrific program.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've got a lot to offer the folks out there. Skill bridge programs, apprenticeships, tons of locations, and a very healthy starting salary. Zach, if you've got just 30 seconds to speak with a transitioning service member, a veteran, or a mil spouse who's considering a career at Cummins, what would you want them to know?
We're a company that actually makes things. We make things that power the world around us, and we've been doing it since shortly after the end of World War I. What makes us unique is that we, and especially in this world of fake news and disinformation, is that we actually live true to our values. You know, we focus on doing what we say we will do. We focus on collaboration in teams. We focus on the power of difference. We focus on caring for each other at a deep level. And we're always striving to do better and aim for excellence. If that gets your juices going, give us a call.
I think that's fantastic. You know, in this global economy where so many things are made overseas, it's good to know that Cummins is keeping the work and keeping the production here in the United States. Well, that about wraps it up. Oh, go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
If I could, I know you gave me 30 seconds, but
you can have another 30 seconds if you need it.
I really quickly wanted to just share one story about our values.
Sure.
Because I think we often talk about values. We put them on our walls. We put them on our websites. But you actually have to see the values in action to really understand a company. And I just wanted to share a really quick story if I could.
Sure.
You know, this happened, and it's a story of teamwork, which is one of our values. This happened in the summer of 2017. And at that time, I was leading our global mining business. And one of our teammates, her husband, developed throat cancer. And his name was Robert. And the cancer was at a very advanced stage, and he had to immediately start radiation and chemo treatments up in Indianapolis, which is about 50 minutes away from Columbus. All of us on the team, and my team and the mining team, came quickly together and asked the same question: what can we do to help? And we very quickly mobilized a plan to carpool and work to get Robert to all of his appointments. And I remember being with Robert in his car or in my car, and we were going up to the appointment the first time, and we were just listening quietly to music because it hurt for him to talk. I remember meeting the oncology staff, seeing a big chair that he had to sit in for all his radiation appointments. I felt this deep guilt and dread and sadness being in that waiting room, looking around the room. And then I saw Robert. He walked around the room cheering up the other patients who were waiting. It was almost as if he was saving his words for those souls there that were scared in the waiting room. And we eventually got him to all his appointments. And he miraculously beat the cancer. And I just, it's not going to go down in the next history book of Cummins, as this big customer win in terms of teamwork or teamwork that led to a record profit. But it was the proudest moment of teamwork that I've been part of in my nearly 22 years at Cummins. And I just wanted to share, there's stories like that all across this company of how we live into our values. And it's why I love the company so much.
That is absolutely exceptional. That's absolutely exceptional. And if that folks out there doesn't make you interested in pursuing at least a passing interest in the opportunities that exist at Cummins, I'm not sure what will. Zach, it's hard to follow that. That's a fantastic story, but thank you very much for being on the show today.
It's a real honor.
Zach, if folks at home want to learn more about careers at Cummins, where should they go?
Great question. I did drop a couple of links. We have a couple of links, one for folks interested in SkillBridge and a broader, more general link related to openings and jobs that we have today. That's easy to search and look through. So hopefully, Sean, you can help us with getting those out to everybody. I definitely am walking away with an action here on the specific conversion rate on our SkillBridge. I do know we've had great success with folks. And by the way, the folks that stay with us through SkillBridge are just rocking it. I mean, they're doing incredibly well. That bodes well for their long-term careers and for us to keep building on the program. So,
all right,
we'll get
folks.
those links out to you, and it's I hope to hear from you all.
All right, fantastic, folks. So look for the links to those URLs, those websites in our comments below, and explore all the opportunities that Cummins has to offer. And if you haven't already done so, do yourself a solid and register on www.recruitmilitary.com for access to over 16,000 employers, one of which is Cummins, and 300,000 job opportunities around the world or around the corner. That about wraps it up for us today. Join us right here in about 2 weeks on November 29, when Gabby and Raul will be back in the seat. And they'll be talking about the value of having a mentor with Leslie Coffey and Eric Brew of American Corporate Partners, another fantastic organization. So don't miss it. This has been Lucas Connolly for Recruit Military Live. Until next time, good luck and Godspeed.